Welcome to another deep dive. I'm really excited for this one. We're going all the way back to 1982. That's right, we're stepping into the world of the BFG.
The BFG, a classic, isn't it? I think many people listening have probably encountered this book at some point in their lives. It's Roald Dahl, What's Not to Love.
Okay, so full disclosure, the BFG is a personal favorite. Maybe you feel the same.
It's certainly earned its place in children's literature.
So today, in this deep dive, we're going to go beyond just the surface of the story. We're going to really dig into what makes the BFG so magical and why it continues to speak to readers even today.
Exactly. And we've got a bunch of cool stuff to work with. We have summaries, reviews, even background on Roald Dahl himself. A lot to uncover.
We do. So let's dive in. Where should we begin? Oh, I know. Let's start with those amazing characters.
All right, characters it is. Where do you want to start?
Sophie, of course. She's our entry point into this whole wild world, isn't she?
She is. Sophie, this bright, imaginative young orphan girl in England. What strikes me about Sophie is that despite her nearsightedness, she really sees things others don't. She wears those big glasses, but it's like she sees the world with a kind of wonder that others miss.
I love that. And her journey begins with a pretty terrifying experience. Kidnapped from her bed by a giant. Imagine the fear.
It is a dramatic start, but think about it. That fear doesn't cripple her. In fact, she becomes incredibly brave, essential to saving humanity from the, well, less friendly giants.
A true heroine. And those details, like her big glasses and that pink nightgown, they kind of become her trademarks, her symbols.
Absolutely. They make her feel so real, so human, even in this outlandish situation.
Yeah, we can't forget the giant himself, the BFG, 24 feet tall, enormous ears. Dahl's descriptions are so vivid.
He's this gentle giant, and that in itself is a surprise. You'd expect a giant to be scary, right? But he refuses to eat human beings, a vegetarian giant, if you will.
And instead, he has this incredibly unique job. He's a dream catcher.
A dream catcher. Can you imagine? He travels to dream country, catches these good dreams, the ones that make you feel happy, and he blows them into children's bedrooms with this special trumpet. It's a beautiful image, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. And we can't forget his speech, that gobblefunk, as Dahl calls it, the mixed up words, the funny expressions.
So endearing. And it kind of hints that maybe he didn't have much formal education.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a wisdom to his words, a different kind of knowledge.
That's an interesting take. It makes you wonder about different ways of knowing, doesn't it?
It does. And those scenes with the Queen later, well, they're hilarious because of their different ways of speaking.
A clash of cultures. But let's not forget, the BFG has a tough time. He's bullied by the other giants. They just don't get him.
It's true. The other 9 giants are much bigger, far meaner. They can't understand why he won't eat human beings, but the BFG sticks to his principles.
It's his kindness that allows him to connect with Sophie so deeply. Their friendship, it really is the heart of the story.
A bond that goes beyond appearances, beyond size and species. They become each other's family, in a way.
Okay, we have to talk about the other giants, the antagonists. These guys are the stuff of nightmares, literally.
They are monstrous, significantly larger than the BFG. They roam the world each night looking for people to eat, not just eating. Devouring.
And their names. I mean, Dahl did not hold back. Blood bottler, bone cruncher, flesh lampeter, they're terrifying.
A child chewer, meat dripper, gizzard gulper, maid masher, and the butcher boy. Each name tells you exactly what they're about.
It's like a horror movie, but for kids, they represent pure evil.
Right. They really embody that classic good versus evil conflict, which is so powerful, especially for younger readers.
And then we have the Queen of England. Talk about an unexpected twist, a real figure in this fantastical world.
It is. She's dignified, resolute, the queen we all imagine, right? But suddenly, she's in this story with giants and dreams.
How on earth do Sophie and the BFG even convince her that giants are real and worse, eating people?
It's a wild plan. The BFG catches a specific nightmare, one that shows the man-eating giants in all their horror, and they somehow get to Buckingham Palace. And then the BFG, well, he blows this nightmare into the queen's bedroom. Imagine waking up to that.
Talk about a wake-up call. So she believes them.
She does. The nightmare, Sophie's sincerity, it's enough to convince her. And once she believes, she acts. She's decisive, bold, and ladylike, all at the same time.
She calls in the Army and the Air Force ready for action. Talk about a clash of worlds.
It's a sight to imagine, right? The Army and Air Force off to capture giants. It's a blend of reality and pure fantasy, and it works brilliantly.
And in the end, the Queen is grateful. A castle for the BFG, a cottage for Sophie near Buckingham Palace. A happy ending for everyone.
It is. It's a lovely reminder of how gratitude can play a role in the story,
Yeah.
how it shapes relationships.
And we have to mention the smaller characters, too. Mr. Tibbs, the Queen's butler, Mary, the maid, and Mrs. Clonkers, the awful headmistress from Sophie's orphanage.
They add so much color and depth to the world, don't they? They show us the different kinds of people Sophie encounters.
Okay, let's go back to the story itself. It all starts with that incredible image of Sophie seeing the giant outside her window. Do you remember that moment when you first read it?
That first glimpse of the unknown, it hooks you right away. It's filled with wonder, a bit of fear. You're right there with Sophie, peering out into the darkness.
And then, bam! She's kidnapped, whisked away to giant country by this huge creature.
It's a disorienting experience for her. But the BFG does it to protect her, to keep his existence a secret. It's the start of her adventure, her journey into a world she never imagined.
And it's in this strange new world that she starts to understand the BFG, doesn't she? She learns that he isn't like other giants.
Exactly. He catches dreams, delivers them to children. It's the moment when her fear shifts to curiosity, maybe even a little bit of wonder.
And then the truth about the other giants is revealed. That's when the stakes become really high.
It's terrifying. It's no longer just Sophie's personal story. It's about protecting the world from these man-eating monsters. It's a reminder that we have a responsibility to protect others, even if we don't know them personally.
And that's what motivates Sophie and the BFG to act. They decide to seek help, and who better to turn to than the Queen?
It's a bold move. It shows how even small individuals, a little girl and an outcast giant, can choose to fight injustice, even when it seems impossible.
Which leads to their trip to Dream Country. They need to convince the Queen, and what better way than a vivid nightmare?
It's a clever, whimsical plan. They use the BFG's unique abilities to collect the very evidence they need. It's a reminder that sometimes the most outlandish solutions are the most effective.
And then there they are at Buckingham Palace, a tiny girl and a huge giant trying to meet the Queen.
It's a scene that just shouldn't work right. But Dahl makes it believable, humorous, and touching. It's a reminder that stories can make even the most fantastical situations feel real.
And the Queen, she doesn't just believe them, she helps.
Decisively. She sends the army and the air force to giant country, a scene that just bursts with imagination.
Armies versus giants. It's hilarious, it's exciting, and it works. The giants are captured.
A triumph of teamwork and ingenuity. And it wouldn't have happened without Sophie's bravery and the Queen's willingness to believe the unbelievable.
And finally, we have that happy ending. The giants imprisoned, the world safe, the BFG with his castle, Sophie with her cottage.
It's a beautiful conclusion to their adventure. It shows the enduring power of their friendship and the Queen's gratitude for their heroism. It's a reminder that good can prevail and kindness is always rewarded.
The BFG, it's more than just a fun story, isn't it? It's about friendship, bravery, kindness.
Absolutely. It's about those big themes that matter in all our lives. And it's presented in a way that makes you think, even as you're enjoying the adventure.
The contrast between the BFG's kindness and the other giant's cruelty really highlights the importance of empathy, doesn't it?
It does. It's a powerful reminder to consider how we treat others, even those who might seem different or scary at first glance.
And it's not just empathy. It's about standing up for what's right, no matter how small you might feel.
Exactly. Sophie and the BFG, they teach us that even the seemingly powerless can make a difference, that every voice matters.
The story also celebrates imagination and the power of dreams. Those moments in Dream Country, they're pure magic.
They are. And they remind us that our dreams, our inner worlds, they have a real impact on who we are and what we do.
Okay, let's talk about Roald Dahl himself, the man behind the magic. He led such a fascinating life.
He did. Born in Wales to Norwegian parents, named after Roald Amundsen, the explorer, he grew up speaking Norwegian, which is fascinating.
And then he becomes a fighter pilot during World War II. Talk about adventure.
That experience must have shaped his storytelling. He saw both the thrill of adventure and the horrors of war.
He started writing for children after he had his own family, made up these stories for them, and those stories became classics.
It's amazing, isn't it? From bedtime stories to beloved books read all over the world.
And the BFG was a personal favorite for him, wasn't it? He really connected with this story.
He did. And picture him writing in his little shed with just a pencil and yellow notepads. That's where those magical worlds were born.
And the language he used, so inventive. Over 250 made-up words in the BFG alone.
He was a master of language.
Yeah.
Gobblefunk. It's brilliant. And, he named Sophie after his own granddaughter. A lovely personal touch.
A big man himself, too. Over 6 feet tall. A gentle giant in the real world, maybe?
Who knows? And let's not forget his other amazing books, James and the Giant Peach, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Matilda. He left behind an incredible legacy.
He did. So as we wrap up our deep dive into the BFG, I think it's clear why this book has resonated with so many people for so long.
It's that timeless story of an unlikely friendship, of courage and kindness in the face of fear and cruelty. It's a story that reminds us that even the smallest among us can make a difference.
And it's all wrapped up in this magical world created by a truly brilliant storyteller.
It's a story that stays with you, isn't it?
It does. And I want to leave you with this thought. Think about those seemingly small acts of kindness or bravery that you encounter, maybe even in your own life. Could they, like Sophie's actions, lead to something truly extraordinary?
It's a powerful question to consider.
It is. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of the BFG. We hope you've enjoyed revisiting this classic and maybe even discovered something new along the way. And remember, the next time you see a giant, don't run away. Offer them a snozzcumber.
Who knows, they might just turn out to be friendly.